Oh, alright. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the No Outlet Podcast.
Yay.
Go team! Yeah! I love the enthusiasm.
Man, when's the last time we did this?
Hold on.
You're gonna check.
Let me just check my podcast files and getting nuked by history. It's Thursday, August 15th, 2019 at 9:03 p.m.
Wow, that sounds like such a long time ago.
It is November 15th, basically. We are currently recording this podcast on a Saturday, November 16th, 2019.
At 7:58.
At 7:58 p.m. Anyways, back to what's important here, ladies and germs. We are here with, I'm here with me, myself, Taylor, Dean.
Yay, me.
And our special celebrity guest, Payne Patchett.
Celebrity
AKA Jerry
guest.
Seinfeld.
AKA Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Oh, he got rid of the long hair, so he's just
not
Jerry Seinfeld by voice.
Yeah.
And facial features.
Fucking hell.
Well, you can't just be like, no, I'm not a celebrity. I mean, obviously you're not a celebrity in the slightest, but you've been making some waves there, little guy.
Yeah, no, I've been doing a few things. Nothing that big.
It says here, not planned at all. Basically,
Not planned at all.
Basically, your boy over here, 18-year-old Payne Patchett, earlier this year became one of the youngest, if not the isn't it the youngest?
It's the youngest.
The youngest sportscaster for baseball.
Yeah, like
professional
broadcaster.
Yeah, youngest professional broadcaster for baseball.
Yay.
And King 5 News put out a story on July 1st. And at 9:18 p.m.
Are you saying the times for all these?
And basically,
Yes.
it was a great thing to read. Found out that good old buddy pal Payne here decided to sacrifice his graduation to go down to Oregon to cast for the Volcanoes, right?
Yeah. Yep. Salem Kaiser Volcanoes.
Salem Kaiser Volcanoes, a single A team in the San Francisco Giants organization.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Payne over here was really desperate to. No, just joking. He wasn't desperate, but he was longing to fulfill that childhood dream of his. Of wanting to be a sportscaster. So he sent out a crap ton of resumes and emails to a bunch of the professional state, the professional state.
The professional state.
Well, living in the professional state of baseball, baseball teams, and basically we're just like, hey, I want to be a caster for you guys, and the your boy over here,
Payne Patchett.
Last time I don't think that was no. Your boy Jerry Walker over here decided to take a chance on Payne over here. Which then Payne's last day of school was at 3 p.m. according to his father.
Yeah, that's when I left.
And
that's when I left the school.
It was his last day, and at 4:30 in the morning, they were in a car driving to Oregon to go cast for this game, and. You cannot do this. I'm actually trying to give so basically, your dad, and I quote, said, we were driving in a car and driving to Oregon. Less than 24 hours. You tell your child at 18, get out and go find a job. He actually did it in less than 24 hours.
Oh my god, I almost joked.
Which
Dean's reaction.
I'm just gonna keep going with this. But basically, So I mean, that's a pretty big feat if I have anything to say about it. And you sacrificed your graduation to do something you loved, and then at the when the Volcanoes came to Everett, they also to play against the Red Sox, or not the Red Sox, the Aqua Sox, and Everett. The administration of Lake Stevens High School decided to show up there and give you a graduation that you obviously never forgot.
Yeah.
And pretty epic. I watched the videos. That was pretty wholesome to watch.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
They're good videos.
Your mom said, and I quote, "This is just his love, his passion. He's in heaven right now. He's working hard, but there is no other place he'd rather be."
Yeah.
I thought it was the most wholesome shit, and it's pretty epic. Before the game, you were awarded your high school diploma by Principal Ivelia.
Yay, Ivelia.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah. Graphic content.
This is
graphic content.
You know, it started.
Content.
For context, I'm totally not reading off of a King 5 news article, and another video totally didn't just start playing of graphic content.
Graphic content.
Lake
Stevens grad, youngest play-by-play announcer. Graphic content.
Apparently, Seattle Police releases something. Anyways. Off that topic.
And on to the next one.
Congratulations for making history.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. No, it feels pretty cool.
Yay.
To do that.
Probably feels really surreal to be the youngest professional sportscaster out of over 300 million people.
Yeah, no, that's
in a country.
Yeah,
it's weird when you put a number to it, isn't it?
Yes, because no one ever put a number to that. All I know is except for 18, which is how old I was, and saying that I was the youngest person at 18. I mean, of course, that was then. I can't even find what the fuck to say right now. Even though that title has been thrown around a few times, especially at the beginning of the year, it was something I never really held on to, because at the end of the day, I was just someone who had a job to do. I did it. It happened to be about 6 to 7 days a week for 3 months, and at the end of the day, I just felt very grateful I feel very grateful that the Volcanoes gave me a chance with it, and that the 4-game series at Everett. I'm really tempted on going into the details of what happened, not only in that game, but also in the entire 4-game series. But I'm the only one who knows a lot about sports in general, so I'm gonna make it just as quick as possible. Game 1, there's 4 games. So game 1, we came back. It was we were trailing by 6 runs. We ended up winning. Game 2 was just we won. Our pitcher did really good. Game 3, Aqua Sox won that game. Game 4.
No, keep going.
Game 4 was
He's totally not leaving the seat.
No, I'm just turning on my TV. It's annoying me.
Game 4 was the graduation day, and the Volcanoes did something that it was the first time in team history that they ever did that, and only 8 teams ever in the history of professional baseball, Major League Baseball, ever did, and that was hit 4 straight home runs, and the Volcanoes won by 10. So I would say definitely that was just a memorable series, and definitely the biggest part of the season for me personally.
Definitely. And you did say in your interview in the video that you've never played sports.
No.
You played, however, at 10 years old, you played football, broke your arm, and was your knee or your arm?
Oh, it was my arm.
It was your arm. So you broke your arm and you never played again.
Never played. No, I was practicing, and it was and then I ended up not playing at all.
In the interview, you said, I've never played baseball. I enjoy it for the numbers.
Yeah, really, I think it was because I think it was a little bit before I even started playing football. I think I discovered at first it was football. I discovered what that was around 8 years old. And from there, it started a domino effect of finding out what these other sports were. And then I remember finding a book in elementary school about personally one of my favorite players, the guy that got me into sports, Ichiro Suzuki. I found out who he was. I found out that he played for the Seattle Mariners. I found out what this team was, what the league was, and then next thing I know, I just started looking up just at one point daily of just random shit about baseball players from like 100 years ago, from like 19th century stuff in particular. There is some stuff that that I've looked up so much that I can't get out of my head even if I want to, but I feel very grateful that I get to do that, and I think that was one of the huge parts of me getting the job broadcasting, was because I knew a lot about baseball in general. I paid attention to it enough from like an outsider's perspective. Again, I never really played, but it was still information nonetheless, so I decided to use that to my advantage, and I definitely took advantage of it here this season.
Mm-hmm. And you said that at some point you did want to be a sportscaster for Major League.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Because right now you're a professional caster for minor league.
Yeah.
You're a professional caster for minor league right now, but your overall goal in doing this entire thing is to be a major league sportscaster.
Yeah, major league sportscaster, baseball. I'm open to any sport, honestly.
Yeah, that's great. And, I mean, obviously, that in particular, that story will definitely kind of give you a bit of an advantage in trying to find something like that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You'll definitely find a few chances there.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Have you started looking into any of that stuff yet, or are you just kind of ride out the minor league stuff for a little bit before you go into the major league?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's a little too early right now to go into majors. Now that I got some time in the minor leagues, I'm going to stay in the minor leagues. I believe I've already parted ways with the Volcanoes. It was just a 1-year thing. So I already sent applications to like 3 or 4 different teams. One of them being in the same league as Salem Kaiser. So if I can get the job there, and that's Boise, by the way. I'm not saying that I got the job with Boise or anything. I'm just saying I sent an application to them. I have no idea if I'm even going to get anything back, but I sent it to them.
Boise, Idaho. Did they have a minor league?
Yeah, Boise Hawks.
Boise Hawks.
I went there. They were in the same division, not only in the same league, but in the same division as Salem Kaiser. Went there and saw I think it was like 6 games. Yeah, 6 games over in Boise. My God, the fans are just absolutely dedicated, especially on the weekends, to the Boise Hawks team. And even though Boise was one of the worst teams in the league this year, it was still really cool to see really what the organization showed, both with the performance on the field and what they did in between innings, and how that was one of the very few places where I saw at one instance the majority of the fans were straight up hecklers to whoever was on the mound for us. Fortunately, we were able to win that game, but no, it's it was really cool going over there, and that's one of a few places, and I hope for convenience sake I go there. I can't really confirm anything at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, even if the team was, is that like in a biased opinion, or is that just factual that they were the worst? That just in that season, obviously.
In this season, record-wise,
like statistics-wise, like win-loss ratio.
Statistically, statistically, they were the worst. At one point, Vancouver was, but then I think Boise by like a couple of games at like the final leg of the season, just because they had 25 wins on this year, and it's like a 76-game season. They were not doing good. They had like either 4 wins or 6 wins on the road, and they played like 38 games on the road, and they only won like 6. So that was definitely a huge issue for them. But you know, the thing with the minor leagues, I think is entertaining, is that with every new season comes a different team, new players on the roster every time. You can have the worst team in the league one year, you can have the league champion next year. It's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, even if you are the worst team in the season, or in out of all the other teams, I mean, of course, that kind of just shows that the morale of your support isn't being weighed down by your win-loss ratio. You're still giving your support to your team.
Yeah.
And I do want to say one thing about it is, because there's a new roster every year, if you start doing this yearly, will it be kind of challenging for you to learn the roster every year? Because, I mean, I saw some of the casting. You're very, like, everyone's names and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Like, obviously by heart, so you know who's playing which position and everything.
Yeah.
But since there's like a constant roster change, is that bring up some challenges and or obstacles for you in like terms of like knowing who's who and where they are?
Not really. When it came to looking up rosters for Salem Kaiser, I actually met with Jerry Walker because he's actually from around here, and he gave me the San Francisco Giants 2019 media guide, and that's really how I knew some of the players. Like when the official roster is uploaded, I can just look up like who the player is. I'll probably write something down like, okay, this guy plays in this position, he does this and this and this. I mean, sure, it gets a little like, I don't want to say frustrating, but
overwhelming at points.
A little bit. I mean, doing it with like 30 players, but like after a while, I mean, it gets a little bit. Like you get overwhelmed with like how much you got to write about with each player, but then you get used to it after a while. And as the season goes on, it actually gets pretty easier to talk about these guys because you're seeing these guys in person. At the beginning of the year, it's challenging, but it gets easier as the season goes along with how much you're seeing these players play. And, next thing you know, in the next few years, you see these guys play in the major leagues. It's a pretty good feeling.
And I saw in the video, there's like you were kind of holding some like note cards, and it looked like they had some names on it, like a player name or player number.
That was how at the beginning of the year I tried to remember and tried to get names out there. That was something that I tried out. Actually, about a week after that came out, or at least a week after King 5 filmed me with the note cards on, I kind of scrapped it, and then I realized how much, because I had a laptop, and that's the broadcast was coming through Skype, so I had a laptop right in front of me, and I realized, like, why am I not using this to look up the players? So I did that instead. I think it was about like a week after that King 5, not when the King 5 story came out, but it was about a week after I went to Everett, where I just straight up ditched that altogether. I still remembered the names as well as when I had the note cards. It was just easier to look it up on the computer.
Mm-hmm. And like in the B-roll footage that they show you, I mean you're like hooked up with a whole like XLR system, and then you have your little laptop there, and it looked like it had like a roster on it or something like that.
Yeah, it's
So you just had a really ease of access. That was a lot more of a convenient way to understand like who is who and where they were.
Yeah, no, the laptop absolutely helped. That was one thing I knew coming into broadcasting for a pro team, especially when I was a sophomore or freshman year helping out for Lake Stevens. With high school baseball, stats are very scarce. When it came to pro ball, stats are very easy. I knew that coming in, and I took advantage of it. I was talking with someone who worked at the station that I was helping out at, and we were talking about so far in the season, and they were saying how impressed they were of me, and this guy is about, I want to say 65 years old, around there. I honestly don't know a specific age, so I may be wrong. He was actually surprised at how quickly I got the information, because not only was I talking about players, I was also talking about, I was giving game updates for like the rest of the league, because there were some teams and guys that piqued my interest as well. I thought, hey, this would be pretty cool, like a guy to follow up on, as well as, like at the end of the game, I would talk about, what the final scores of games from around the league, and he was surprised that I brought it up, and I was telling him, like, hey, I was looking them up on the laptop, and there's other people from these other stadiums who were bringing the information in, and it was I have to give that guy and the station a pass. Apparently, it was the first time in 10 years that station even covered Volcanoes games, so that's why they had an opening. I think it was pretty cool. Not only having people, tell me that they're impressed of what I've been doing, especially of how quick I've been learning, but also knowing that I've made an impression on some people, especially knowing that I'm an 18-year-old who's just starting out and just got out of high school.
Yeah, and obviously, if people are impressed by your casting, that's definitely going to get your foot in the door for Major League easily.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you have a very unique kind of way of doing things, you're most likely going to have a bigger foot in the door and or longer reach in the race.
Yeah.
But at any point, was it very surreal? Like, at any point, just like, holy crap, I'm the youngest professional sportscaster in the country.
There were many reasons why the season as a whole felt surreal, but specifically when it came to, if I'm the youngest broadcaster, it was during that first game, which was, funny enough, against Boise. It was at home. It was like the first time in team history that the Volcanoes had their first 7 games at home. So at least I got used to that because got me used to where I was living and transportation because I didn't have a car and I still don't have a car, and that game ended. What?
You have a car? Wait a minute.
No. You're probably talking about Oregon, right? Yeah.
Oh, Oregon.
I'm talking about Oregon.
Yeah.
Because Oregon,
Okay.
I didn't
That
have a
makes
car.
more sense.
It's like because I drove Dean here.
Yes.
But I'm going to get a car soon, and the game lasted 4.5 hours. It was the longest game easily in the entire season, and we won in 12 innings. So there was a lot of reasons why it felt surreal. Easily, when the game started, it was because I was the youngest broadcaster, and then everything else it still felt surreal, but it was for different reasons. First game of the year, stadium's jam-packed, and the Volcanoes win on a wild pitch with basically a new roster. So that was, for that reason, why it felt surreal.
Was it ever overwhelming or very stressful at any point? Or would you say it was a great like experience all around, or
Yeah.
were there some bumps obviously?
Well, obviously there were some bumps because apart from talking on the air, I had to get some stuff ready for not only the scouts during home games. During road games, I didn't have to do anything. I just needed to talk. But during home games, I needed to get stats ready for not only me but the scouts that were going to be there and the other team's broadcaster, the rosters for both teams, the lineups for both teams, and of course it was a little confusing at first because I didn't know how to really do it, and then after a while that 7-game homestand absolutely helped me a lot with it. It actually gave me a lot of time to really learn what to do, because after that, for the rest of the year, I was I was perfectly fine with it. I mean, of course there were some obstacles in terms of keeping me away from making it a smooth road to putting all these stuff out, laying all of it out, but in the end I did it, and that was the best part. And I even had some time spare time mostly to go to. There were a couple of stores that were across from the stadium. There was a Target and there was this restaurant. It's called Hop and Drops, and I go over there during happy hour because the wings are like $10 and the wings are pretty good. And I go to Target, probably get some food. And I spend my free time doing that, but when the time comes, I get the job done, and I think that's it's definitely something that I've gotten used to doing over the course of the season.
Mm-hmm. And one last question, and it's where did you live in Oregon? Where did you reside? Was it a hotel room or something like that?
No, it wasn't a hotel room. It was an apartment that was about 15 minutes from the stadium. It was right near Willamette University. It was a university apartment, and I was living with just all these other people. It was the cheapest one we could find, $435 a month.
And how many people were?
It was like 5 people. It ended up turning into 7. There was a couple that moved in after I did.
7 including
7?
you?
No, the 7 not including me. So 8 people.
So 8 people total.
Yeah. I remember I was talking to people about like the people that were in it. So there was what was it? There was like a 90-year-old old lady that lived in the basement. There was a Vietnamese guy named Alfredo. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember who else was there, because I remember telling someone on Discord what it was, and then someone replied, "Hey, that's like a sitcom," and because it's like an 18-year-old broadcaster moving in this house with all these wacky personalities, but no, I ended up barely talking to him at all, and I ended up just going into my room, because we all had rooms to live in. That was basically how it was. The living room was open to everyone, the kitchen was open to everyone, and I just stayed there and probably went on my laptop, listened to music till 2 in the morning before I had to get back up and go back to the stadium, because again, 6-7 days a week, not that really much to do. Mm-hmm. That's really all I can say.
So when you were living in Oregon, I mean, temporarily, obviously, it was. You really didn't did the games usually take up most of your day?
not the games, but how much I spent at the stadium took most of the day. I would leave at so
like some prepping stuff, and then finally getting to the actual game. Would take most of the day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Actually, I think the prep time took more than the game itself most of the time. Like I would get there super early. I've had a habit of just going to baseball games, football games, just super early. And I stayed with it. I think I would leave my apartment at like noon or 12:30. The game wouldn't start till like 6:30. So of course, I would have to get on everything immediately, and to be honest, it's because I want to get some free time, probably get some food or something, because there would be times where I would eat nothing but a protein bar at the apartment, and I would just I need to get something from Target or go to Wings at Hop and Drops. I went there a lot, but it's 10 hours at the stadium, at home when it's a home series, and then back to the apartment and back there. And when it's a road series, depends on where the road series is. If it's in state, then it's a commuter, very similar to Lake Stevens High School, where the football team, they get on a bus from their school, they go to the other school, they play, and they come back. That's basically what a commuter trip is. And then you have stuff like the Everett series, where I didn't do this, but the team stayed in a hotel, so it would be kind of not really the same thing. I mean, I don't spend 10 hours at the visiting stadium. I spent probably like half that.
So but, 5.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, like I remember Boise and Tri-City, Tri-City, and then Everett and Vancouver. Basically every place outside of Oregon is the same thing. 5 hours. All of them with their own unique experiences, and it was fun to be there and experience that. So
sounds pretty cool.
And for the Everett games, I'm assuming you just like stayed at your house.
Yes,
because you're based in Washington. For like Vancouver, and the other ones, what is it? Tri-Cities.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, at least for Vancouver, because that's in Canada?
Mm-hmm.
Did you reside in a hotel for that one?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I had to. At that case, I had to stay at a hotel with the team.
Yeah, but for like Tri-Cities, you probably just got up early and then just commuted to it.
For Tri-City, the hotel was literally right next to the stadium, so
okay.
it was very convenient. Unlike the other ones, I would say Everett's the same thing. It's the Best Western on, I forgot what street. Is it like Hewitt, I think, which is like right next to the stadium. I mean, it's also pretty close, but I can't say much about that. I didn't stay at the Best Western, but for Tri-Cities, it was like fairly close. And when it came to commuting, I went on apparently the Volcanoes were the only team in the league that had 2 buses instead of 1. So I guess I got to get used to that when I end up going to Boise or something. But it was we would always commute from the hotel to the stadium on the bus, and the same thing back there. Same thing the other way around.
All right. That is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Neat.
There's a lot of stories from like every single. Well, I mean, except for Everett. Everett, we basically all know what the story is at this point.
Yeah, well, duh.
You may or may not have pulled the story up.
I'm nor gonna confirm nor deny that.
Yeah. But everyone else, like all these other stadiums, I think I said something about Boise. I think it's just the fans, really, Boise. But Boise is, I really remember Boise for. Tri-City, it's fucking windy. It's a very, because it's in the middle of the Tri-Cities, Richland, Pasco, Kennewick. Anyone who's been there knows that it's windy all the time. There are barely any trees there, so it's a pitcher's ballpark. People know it as a pitcher's ballpark. Hillsboro and Eugene, I think. Hillsboro, I fucking hate Hillsboro. I really don't like Hillsboro, man. I think it's because they just, like, we go to their place and they beat us. I mean, they're a way better team, and when I go over there, which is pretty frequently, the people over there are, like, very nice, but god damn.
I can't tell that was a compliment.
I don't...
Was there, like, a certain, like, ranking system to, like, figure out what was, like, the best team in, like, the thing?
Yes, no, there were standings. There were standings.
Where did the Volcanoes place in the standings?
Okay, so a little bit of context for that. So the standings, there are 2 divisions. There's a North Division, South Division. There's 4 teams in North, 4 teams in South. The playoffs are divided in 2 halves. There's the first half champion for each division, and there's the second half champion for each division. The Volcanoes, in the first half, apparently it was the first time they've ever won the first half title, and they went to the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. That's cool. That's exciting, and that was really how much, that was really how much the team outside of, like, baseball operations really paid attention to in the second half of the year was just promoting the fact that the Volcanoes are going to the playoffs. Hillsborough, on the other hand, they have like the best. Apparently, they had like the best pitching staff in the history of the league. So it was very, very hard to face them, and it kind of got a little bit aggravating on a couple of times. I mean, I was very fortunate enough to keep that in, and if I ever did show it on a broadcast, it was in a professional manner, but it was still, frustration nonetheless. I have nothing against Hillsborough at all. It's just, that's just the sports fan in me saying that, because they're really good, and they ended up winning the league championship. And that's all I remember about Hillsborough. The people there were really nice. Eugene had the best promotions out of all the teams in the Northwest League. The final series I remember, there were a couple of them. There was a horror themed one. There was a horror themed promotion.
Yes.
Dean is a sucker for Halloween stuff.
Yes.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a horror themed promotion, and I was told that there was going to be a bunch of people dressed up as horror icons walking around the walkway, meeting with the kiddies and talking with people, and yeah, that I said that especially just you didn't break.
You didn't break. Immediately starts laughing. Anyways.
Yeah, immediately starts laughing. No, it's like I'm fucking with him half the time while I'm trying to tell a story. No, but I would always have the habit during road games, especially just walking around the stadium, getting a feel for it. And on the walkway, there are like these very small manholes, and I would be walking down on the manhole that's closest to the stairs that I walk down from the press box. There's this red balloon tied to the manhole, and I immediately took a picture of it. I sent it to my dad, who's like the closest person I know to like as like a huge horror fan, and he responded with, "That shit's pretty good." Like I actually thought that was pretty good. Fast forward to about, I want to say 30 to 45 minutes later, the people who were like, I'm just gonna call them, I'm not even gonna beat around the bush, cosplayers. The cosplayers are there. They are, they're getting dressed up, and of course I can't help but look over and see like, oh, what are they going to be dressed up as? There was one dressed up as I don't know if any of you guys remember this, Wednesday from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Yay!
There was actually there's a picture. There's a picture. I took a picture of it and sent it to my mom because I wanted to. And there was Beetlejuice. I know that. Yeah. There was Michael Myers.
All right.
There was like this weird version of Freddy Krueger. It looks like a gender swapped Freddy Krueger.
That's like a sexy.
Freddy Krueger.
Okay, I have it right here. So it's Beetlejuice. There's Michael Myers. There's like a witch. I don't know where. I don't know, Witch from the Wizard of Oz, I guess. The one that I didn't expect was that someone dressed up as Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I thought, like, okay, I knew that this person was dressing up as Jack Skellington's Nightmare. I just didn't know I just didn't expect what I saw next. I was in the booth about like 5 minutes before I have to get on air to start pregame, eating a burger, because there was
burger.
What was in the burger is not important.
Boigus.
What was in it is not important.
No gherkins.
But I walk out, and I walk out because I hear like these weird. I hear like a metal, like metal sounds, and I thought like, oh, that's cool. Nice. This person brought stilts. I walk out. I walk out the door.
He's currently standing.
I see the person standing on the stilts, but it's like disguised in these pants, in like the long pants that Jack Skellington has. Of course, has the thing on. What freaked me out was the head. It was very well made, and I almost spat out my burger after looking at the goddamn head. And I came in. I just like it's like I came out. I freaked out. It was that person, like someone else, who started laughing after seeing my reaction. And then about 5 minutes later, I had to like immediately get rid of all that and then go to and then just immediately get on air. And then there was a Marvel superhero promotion, I think about a couple days after that, where it was just a bunch of people. It was the same thing basically, but it was just a bunch of Marvel characters. Nothing really that important. I mean, you had someone dressed up as Groot, the Hulk. You have a bunch of very not so well known characters like the Tick. Who even remembers that?
I remember the Tick.
There was a couple that I actually thought I didn't know who they were exactly, but then I found out it was Gwen. It was Gwen and Penny from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I didn't expect anyone to cosplay at all. But, again, PG-13, they had to make it for kids. And I just think it's pretty cool overall, just how much they did. How much they did. Oh, there's a cat outside. I think it's just pretty cool what Eugene did for promotions. Vancouver is easily the best one. I did not have a passport. I am actually in the process of getting a passport, but I did not have one. I had an enhanced driver's license.
So tell me, Payne. Now I'm not part of any organization that you may think of. But did you return something that you may have stolen from the authorities there in Canada?
I never stole shit.
Well, I know a certain source. Now I'm not naming any. I'm not naming any. But
come on, man.
I'm not naming any. But they said
the Maple Land Mafia is not a real thing.
Hey, I never said it was them. I'm not saying it was them. Not promoted by them. But
come on, man.
I
didn't steal any maple syrup.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the Maple Land Mafia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not dropping any names.
Okay, shut up.
Oh.
Anyways, so where did the volcanoes place in terms of standings?
First place in the first half. I think they were like third place in the second half, but it didn't really matter because they went to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And this is so we played in the division series against Hillsborough because Hillsborough got the first half title in the second half, and during that Eugene series we actually eliminated Eugene from playoff contention because it was towards the end of the year. And
was Vancouver the last part?
Vancouver, in terms of places, we played them in like late August, so we played Vancouver and then we took a day off and then we played Eugene for like the final series of the entire year. Vancouver, just very quick on that because there's a lot of shit about Vancouver, but I'm gonna try and simplify that. So we went in there. I got in through a enhanced driver's license. Got in through a hotel as usual. The stadium's like the oldest stadium in the league. It's made up to where you go on the roof, and the press box is a separate building from the entire stadium. It's on top of the stadium. The roof, there's just netting. There's no walls. You can easily fall off on the side. That's how old the stadium is. And it was actually to a point where it was very tempting, and I ended up doing it. I straight up took pictures and filmed everything I saw on the first day I went there. And I was talking to a bunch of people over there in the press box. The one thing that they all said was that this place always sells out. And that was the thing I heard all year too. 6,413, that number. I kept hearing that goddamn number. And I found out that was the maximum number of seats in the stadium. And it was sold out all 4 games. I remember we won the first game and won the second game, and we lost the final 2. The third game was at 1 p.m., so we had time to go to downtown Vancouver, and it was just straight up beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was one of the most diverse places I've ever been, but then again, I was 18, so I'm going to be going to way more diverse places. Mm-hmm. And, it's definitely memorable as a whole. I mean, all the A&W you can drink. I mean, I just had a thing for A&W after that.
But anyways, so pretty cool season, pretty surreal moment in your life.
Yep.
Anyways, moving on to a new topic.
More
sports. Ladies and gentlemen,
I want to mention my topic.
We will get to your topic.
Oh God.
We are going to be talking.
Jesus, dude.
We are going to be talking about the amazing KSI versus Logan Paul.
Oh God!
Okay. No, this is a topic I didn't watch it, but I mean, still.
I'm part of the people who saw the first fight and then didn't watch the second fight, but knew the outcome,
which was KSI.
KSI won via split decision. Mm-hmm. Even though, just regardless of who would have won or if it was a tie. Literally any of the outcomes of that match would have still just blew up the internet, and it obviously did.
Yeah.
Obviously with a lot of biased stuff going on, mainly because of fan base stuff.
Yeah.
But so the year before it was a tie, and it was more of a YouTuber event than this one. This one actually had like a bunch of like fights for like I think the fight started at like 8 or 7 p.m. and then it started at like 6 p.m. but the official like event started at 1, so there was like 5 hours of like extra matches before the original match or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he after that, everyone was like just itching to watch these guys just beat the shit out of each other. And I mean, we did. We watched. I mean, both of them showed a pretty good matchup against each other, but I'm no Joe Rogan. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
out of boxing.
yeah, but it's
I know more boxing than anyone. I didn't even barely pay attention to this damn thing.
The only boxing I played is Wii Sports boxing.
Oh, Wii Sports boxing.
Let's go, boys.
That's
But yeah. So I mean, I wanted KSI to win mainly because I had a general bias against Logan Paul because I mean he's not the most likable.
But
person.
Doesn't everyone though? I mean, you know, he's filmed a dead body.
Yeah,
and taste rats.
And taste rats.
Honestly, that's the argument that everyone brings up. They're just like, I mean, KSI deserved to win because Logan Paul's a bad person. Like, granted, yes, he's not a likable person in the slightest.
It's easy to hate.
Yeah, he's very easy to hate.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, him and his brother have really plagued the internet with some just shit that nobody really cares about except for the most gullible of teens.
Yeah. And Pyrocynical.
And younger.
And Pyrocynical. And Pyrocynical.
But yeah.
Who's paying his rent just for making like a 15-minute video on Jake Paul.
But yeah, so anyways, that was my take on the whole thing. I mean, I watched it through a Discord video chat. I watched the first fight through that because my friends were just like, "Hey, I bought it and I'm gonna stream it to you guys. You guys want to join a call?" So I spent my like Sunday morning just watching that, and I was just like, "Okay, that was pretty dumb."
What was I doing during that time?
I
don't know.
Playing Luigi's Mansion 3. That's what I was doing.
No, I'm talking about the first fight. That was a year ago.
I watched a little bit.
I remember trying to watch the first fight. I just ended up not doing it for some reason.
But yeah, I mean, it was overall. I mean, it was just. It's one of those events that you're just like. I mean, I'll just look and see what the outcome is. I don't really give a shit what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was basically what happened for me. But any of you guys have any thoughts on it before we move on to Dean's topic? I just thought it'd be a little fun thing to throw in there, just to kind of bring some relevancy to the podcast.
Yeah, no, I didn't really pay attention to it because I knew it was just going to be one big like.
Yeah.
Cash grab.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. No, like I knew it was going to be a cash grab because it's about two YouTubers who make millions of dollars. Yeah. And I think, and I knew
how much money they made off of that.
Yeah.
Both of those fights.
Yeah, and I knew like, you know, and I knew that that's what they wanted. They wanted to see people like watch it, and I knew there's gonna be a lot of people watching it. I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, usually I don't watch boxing. Sometimes I do. You know, it's kind of fun to see people punch the shit out of each other. You know, I don't know, but I don't really care about it really that much because it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't affect my life. You know? Yeah. I'm just here trying to play some horror games, trying to live my life, trying to wear my blue slippers out in public and look like a homeless bum.
So the first fight took place in Manchester. Mm-hmm. But according to this, said that basically. Apparently $30 to $40 million. That's
a lot.
Each, which apparently was false via Logan Paul, saying that YouTube took 30% of the share because the event was on pay-per-view for YouTube, and the remaining 70% split was obviously given to KSI and Logan Paul. And then it looks like the new one they're guaranteed to at least make $900,000.
Oh boy!
Both, which I mean, it's kind of weird how it kind of dropped off how much money it was, but you know, whatever. They probably just wanted to beat the shit out of each other anyways because they really said some shit to each other. But yeah, anyways. Anyways, so Dean.
Oh God.
Yeah,
get onto your topic.
My topic.
All right.
So what you may not know, folks, is that our buddy Payne here also has another thing going on with his life, which I can respect, clearly,
Yeah.
he wants to do a little bit of YouTube, alright, a little bit of YouTube,
Oh, God.
and he makes some good content. If you're ever looking for him, you just type in Payne's anime review.
I don't even use that term anymore.
Well, I use it.
Called them out.
I use it. And that's how you find
You're
him.
the only one I know who uses it.
Yeah, because it works.
All
But
right.
anyway,
Because it works.
but I will say that he makes some good videos.
Yeah.
I watch him. He goes really in depth with the analysis.
Yeah.
Does a
Yeah.
couple skits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, memes aside, I'm not even an anime fan whatsoever. But
I'm not really either.
he definitely puts actual like effort into it, which I
Yeah.
can respect because I'm not that great of a person when it comes to YouTube.
Yeah.
So
I thought you were just gonna end it. I thought you were just saying I'm not that great of a person.
I mean, that's up to you guys, but
well, I think you're a great person. I mean,
Aw, thank you. Anyways, brown nose alert. Anyways, not joking. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I give you credit for that,
Yeah.
for doing some pretty good videos. Cause
Look at the bright side. Your account didn't get terminated. Mine did.
yeah, Dean's
Oh,
account.
God, I completely forgot about that.
All for just using DuckDuckGo.
Oh, God.
What a crime.
Oh, God.
What a crime.
What a crime.
Anyways,
That was really it. I just wanted to
It's
give him a shout out
crime.
because I like
give him
his
a
stuff.
shout out.
Yeah, it's just a plug.
I mean, I could mention the thing I was originally going to mention, but I think that I don't really need to mention it.
What was it?
You, Brian.
You know exactly what it was. It was his big skit.
Oh, God, no. Can I please
You can find it. You can find it.
Please
You
have
can
a
find.
say in this,
Yeah,
please?
yeah,
sure.
Well, this started when I was in Salem.
Wait a second. You're in Salem?
I was helping out for baseball.
Oh, okay.
I was still with baseball.
We're about to
But-
throw a witch trial on you.
He's the next John Proctor here.
Oh, God damn it. No, I was with Salem. I of course baseball was the #1 priority. I still wanted to make the videos because I had fun doing it. I legit have fun making them. But baseball was the #1 priority, so I rarely uploaded that. I think it was there was a month span at one point where I just didn't even upload. So I watched this show at the beginning of the year. It's this cyberpunk thing. I've never seen anything like it before, or at least in a while. So name's not important. So. Okay, fine. It's Serial Experiments Lane. That's the name of the show. But the point is that it's one. So it was I watched it in one day on a day off. It fucked me up, but I knew it fucked me up. There was a lot of weird shit in that show. I'm not. No, it's not.
I don't know. When you said, I'm sorry. When you said he's John Proctor, I just think of him just having all of his roommates just rounded up, and he's just y'all are witches. We'll burn you.
Oh God, that takes me back.
And then they just kick you out and just
oh, that fucking takes me back.
Instead of killing you,
Back when
instead
I
of
was-
hanging you, they
Back
just.
when I was reading The Crucible in English class, holy shit. No, but it was a show I watched, and I knew I wanted to make a video on it, but of course, baseball is the #1 priority, and I decided,
of course.
you know what? There's a lot of people that are really into the show, really into the show. So I decided I was gonna try and make something that appeals to them. They're
That was a good effort.
well, hold on. Okay.
Effort.
Good effort. Hold on. I know I'm gonna work on that fucking camera stare when I make another
It's
one.
so great.
But it's I did
It's
not.
the last thing you want to do when you're trying to make a video.
I know it's the last thing I want to do. I know, but it's I tried it and I just had. It was one of those things where the idea was pretty great, but the execution wasn't. And even I'll admit that the execution wasn't great.
I mean, what makes it even funny though is that we were in a class together.
Oh, and you watched that?
What?
In class?
No, we were in a class
Oh.
last year.
All three of us were in a
Console.
video production.
Yeah,
class.
I know, and that was I clearly was paying attention to baseball during that time, so I didn't really Sure, I wanted to do more film shit, but I needed some time to, get the rust off. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way to say it. But
Red Jafar really wanted that rust off as well.
Yeah, the Jafar. Yeah.
no,
I feel really bad for the people who don't have any context.
I mean, they can just watch the video.
Yeah,
Oh God damn it!
I'll link the video just so y'all.
Yeah,
can
it's
understand
something
what
that
we're
I
talking
wanted.
about.
It's something that I thought was a cool idea, and it went so far as to me even uploading it and then looking at it, it's like, this is not a good idea. Or at least if or at least if
it's a good idea.
Or at least if like if I do want to do it again, I gotta make sure the camera, like, pretend the camera's not there.
Yeah.
And I just haven't been inspired to do anything else ever since. So that's why, like, so I basically just I basically. Oh, come on, man! All right, no, but the stuff that I did for it, apart from the camera thing, I thought were pretty good. Just like make a story very quickly about fucking hell.
Oh,
Steps on a chip bag. I'm in.
What was that laugh,
It's
by the way?
so good.
I don't know.
It's fine. I have a weird laugh sometimes too.
I thought it was a good idea. No, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you mean the video?
The ending of it. The ending of it was.
What was that? What was that
The ending of it, I thought was a good idea, and then it turns out it wasn't. But you know, I thought really everything you saw, I thought it was a good idea, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. and now you know why I'm probably never going to do a skit again. It's probably because I keep fucking up. Come on.
That makes me sad because
Why?
I think it went pretty well. We had a few laughs.
Well, no, because I clearly wasn't ready enough mentally for it. I keep staring at the fucking camera.
That's fine. You ever see me record? It's sucky.
No, well, here's the no. With you, it's different. With you actually go into the shot. You actually go into the shot.
Bring that up. No, I meant actually me recording.
Oh,
that's what I meant. No, not me stepping into the shot and then being a dumbass.
Well, for the most part, I probably won't make another one because I'm not really inspired to do it. I try to make one that's like related to what I'm talking about, but you know, I think Dean made it said a really good point, and I'll probably do, which is
no cussing.
Yeah, which is probably just to make a skit just because, like, just make one.
We didn't say that. We can cuss, but
yeah.
In this house, we're all loud, which is fine.
In this household, my parents are not very appreciative of it, so
yeah,
which is cool.
I need to remember that. So
it's okay.
Yeah, he blatantly fucks.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna firsthand. I'm just gonna straight up, just no beating around the bush, no loopholes. I'm apologizing for that. I really completely forgot because you warned me before this started. Thought it was a good idea. I even made a video for it, like in a separate editing thing, which is basically just like the final part of the last episode, and then just get something from like a random NeoCities website, good God, and just make it and just whip it up into a random ass thing. Try to make it as like the scariest as I possibly could.
I'm in.
Which was not really that much because
I'm sorry, that was like an 80s like
it was an
evil villain laugh.
I know.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know what the fuck I thought. Oh, whoops!
You did it again.
Whoa, oh my God!
Kick you out.
I don't.
Oh, I just hit my funny bone.
I honestly, I actually wish I kind of took that out. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I'm not gonna do that again. That's not happening.
You might just need to take a different approach.
I'm gonna take a different approach to it, and I'm probably not gonna do that. Fucking. I don't even know why I did that in the first place. But no, but you know, I think. But that was the beginning of something for the channel. To be honest, apart from that, and I think this is weird because I made a skit because I wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. After that, I didn't want to see my fucking face on any of the videos, so I just decided not to film myself and just film audio. So then that's basically what I've been doing ever since.
That also started me and Craigie boy over here harassing you every single day about it.
Oh yeah,
all the time.
Okay, first off, not every day, but like every time you called me.
Oh yeah.
Every time you called me, you would say like. You would say something about how I would look into the camera, and you would basically just make fun of it in general. Yeah. But no, it's I'll definitely put more thought into it. I'll definitely try and prepare more. I don't know when I'll ever do it again, but
soon.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, even I don't.
Even I don't. I just forgot what I was going to say now. Wow.
Anyways, speaking of numbers, ladies and germs, we're gonna talk. Okay, we're gonna talk about a very cool little topic of what video game company cannot count.
I don't know.
No.
What?
That's
video
a
game
tough
company?
question.
Wow.
What's a very big video game company that just for some reason just can't count past a certain number? It's not Gearbox because they put out Borderlands 3. What?
It's not Nintendo.
Yeah. Can't be id Software because they put out Quake 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's...
Oh man, what a pickle.
I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna talk about our old pal Gaby Newell.
Oh boy.
Talk about Valve, ladies and germs. They've notoriously been delaying a game for a good part of over 10 years now. Pretty great, honestly. Definitely something that I think everyone is just dreading at this point, or has lost hope in even thinking that Half-Life 3 will ever become a thing. Because at this point, it's just a meme. According to sources, there are developments of Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, and Half-Life 3.
Oh.
Threes.
Awesome.
Yeah, right?
3 threes.
The 3 threes.
Trace.
Trace.
With Valve's current disaster of artifacts from whenever that was released in the immense backlash that it got, and the immediate player base that just killed itself. It was great to see the downfall of another company, because we all know that Bethesda loved doing that for a little bit, and now we're here with Valve.
Yeah, Artifact came out on November 28th, 2018.
There you go. So it came out last year, almost a year ago. But yeah, a lot of people were very disappointed by it. Obviously, Valve being, some really good. Don't get them wrong. Like, the games that they put out are going to be treasured as relics in gaming history.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt in my mind that Half-Life and Team Fortress and all Counter-Strike and all those other ones are not going to be hailed as some holy grail games for gaming. Regardless of your stance on console wars or anything, it's definitely a very praised just developer, regardless of how inconsistent they are with their releases. But what do you guys What do you guys have thoughts on just on this general meme of just hey, we will not go number 3. We will only stay at number 2.
Well, I know you and me were talking about it this morning. Thank you, phone. And
ladies and gentlemen, phone.
My phone. Wow. Anyway, I'm happy that those sources are true. That they are making those. That'd be pretty cool. Then we can get Half-Life 3, and then everyone can complain about Half-Life 4. Whoa!
Okay, now you're just thinking way too much.
Sources aren't factual, maybe, but from what I saw, there was an article put out that they were in development because of some sort of B-roll that was being recorded in Valve, and people read one of the monitors, and it said Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, and some others. But yeah, it's. Obviously it's.
I was trying to cough.
Oh, okay.
That was not a cough.
He's a cat.
Anyways, but yeah, it's good to always have faith in that kind of stuff. regardless if you have faith in having another Half-Life episode come out, which I'm not really. I've never been a huge fan of the games, but I can see why some people who are huge fans are just still hanging on just in case, which is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever. Y'all want to talk about the thing that y'all want to talk about Just Cause 4?
Oh God.
I don't know what to say about that.
That horrid game.
Oh Jesus. I think for people who don't know what Just Cause 4 is, like, what makes it horrible, which I could, like...
I mean, like, what you could say about Just Cause 4 is the same thing that plagued Dead Rising 4. Was both games were, like, easily made within, like, less than a year. They both have the same amount of, like, thought of that in it. Because you take a look at, like, their 3 or even the past counterparts, they are nothing like it. I mean, if you look at Just Cause 3, I mean, Just Cause 3 was like, hey, we're bringing the Just Cause series to next gen with Just Cause 3. Granted, Just Cause 3 was a fucking great game.
Yeah.
In terms of the physics engines that they had on that thing was ridiculous on how, like, destructible that entire game was. And just the physics behind it. But, like, Just Cause 4 just has none of that. It's very, very limited, I've heard, and it's just not worth it at all. And it's still being sold. I'm pretty sure it's still being sold for a full $60 price tag.
You boy.
Which is really bad.
Oh, God.
Because especially if you have that kind of just shit on it. If you have that kind of shit list on your stuff, I mean, we'll look it up real quick. Who wants to do it?
Yeah.
Waiting for him to look it up.
Yeah. Just Cause 4, that's a complete edition.
Oh, jeez.
Just Cause 4 Reloaded.
Reloaded. Like anyone wants it reloaded.
Right? Got him. Anyways. But, yeah, I mean, still. I mean, yeah, the Reloaded edition... So there's no base game. There's no, like, just regular edition of the game. There's the Reloaded edition, there's Gold edition, and then there's Complete edition.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? So you can buy the Reloaded, you can buy the Complete edition for $70, you can buy the Gold edition for $60, and then you can buy the Reloaded edition for $40. Regardless, dude, like, still, it's just... I'm good. Like,
yeah.
Alright.
Like, overall, it looks like the reviews are pretty mixed, and I mean, you're just looking at
That's
that.
a lot of reds. That was a lot of reds.
That was a solid couple scrolls of just negative.
Yeah, there was a pretty good stretch of red, just like thumbs down on it.
It's kind of sad to see that, because you know that there was not much love put into this game.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing about Just Cause 3, because people were also giving that one shit, but at the same time, dude, like, it's just not great. I got to play it for a little bit, and I gotta say it was not great. Like, I was thoroughly disappointed with it.
So if we were going to give any advice to any of our listeners, don't buy Just Cause 4.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ignore it.
Or Dead Rising 4.
Or Dead Rising 4. If you
Dead Rising 3 was pretty good.
Yeah, if you have already bought Just Cause 4 or Dead Rising 4, I'm so sorry for your loss, because you just wasted $40.
At the same time, if you did enjoy Just Cause 4, then...
Or Dead Rising 4.
Or Dead Rising 4, more power to you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do not like that.
Yeah.
So, more power to you for that. For sure. Yeah, mixed on. We're looking at the reviews of
Dead Rising 4.
Dead Rising 4, which actually there's a little bit more sparse on
yeah.
the negative reviews, but still.
It looks, yeah.
If you're really wanting a pretty good zombie game, either get the previous Dead Risings or get Dying Light. Dying Light's fucking great.
Dying Light's fun. I played that on PS4. It's like really, like, I had to get used to the controls, because it's like different from every other game I had. But if you do get used to the controls, it is pretty fun.
Or you can get Resident Evil 4. Ooh, that's a good game. Sorry, I was thinking the 4s, and I was like, oh man, Resident Evil 4, that's a good game. I don't remember if it has zombies in it. They're like zombies, I think. You ever play Resident Evil 4, Payne?
Resident Evil 4? Yeah. No, I played Resident Evil 5, 6, 5 and 6. Okay. And, like, every game after that, actually.
Yeah, that was actually my first Resident Evil, and then I got
into Resident Evil 5. I got stuck where you're playing the guy with the chainsaw, and I just straight up rage quit and never played that game again.
Yeah, I think that thing started in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, and then I played Resident Evil 6, and I beat that. And then I played Resident Evil, the latest Resident Evil, and I beat that.
Have you ever played Resident Evil Revelations?
Nope.
No, it's a good game. The first one I will recommend, because the first one has a good theme. You're on a ship. There's like sea creature, weird fins. Like I think there's a pufferfish enemy, which is pretty cool. Flops around and stuff. There's I think whales. Oh no, that's one of the bosses. One of the bosses is a whale. But they're like fish, like infected with virus. The second one is not that. The second one is you're in the same asylum. Here you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I kind of want to go to a different direction with Resident Evil.
Are you buying Sunset Overdrive right now?
Hmm.
Okay, you just check. Okay.
All right.
I want to though. That game looks like
It's a good game.
All right. So I actually got a question regarding Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Is there any good Resident Evil movies?
No.
No.
No. That's
No.
That's what I thought because I definitely
I've seen them. And
Yeah,
I'm
not
not
good.
a fan of them.
It's
It's like Silent Hill.
Exactly.
Yeah, except Silent Hill, the first movie for Silent Hill had like a lot of dedication to it because the director
The
was
first
a fan
one
of
was
the games.
alright.
Yeah.
The second one was just horrible.
Remember when
because there
PT was sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, it's because both Silent Hill and Silent Hill Revelations, they had like different people working on it. If the director for the first one worked on the second one, it would have been that possibly would have been the best video game movie franchise ever.
Yeah.
Because the first Silent Hill,
Video game movies do not have a great track record.
no, the first Silent Hill is the best video game movie. Because
that might actually change when Sonic comes out.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
I
what I was about to
actually-
mention. The Sonic.
Well,
Because
yeah,
that game, that movie is actually looking a lot more promising after
Yes.
the redesign.
yeah. I've heard people say they still don't like the movie.
Jim
even though it's already
Carrey.
changed.
Jim Carrey does not like
See-
the design.
Okay, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
The new one?
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He said, what did he say exactly? He said, I'm summarizing right now. He said that he thinks that media, if it's like being like controlled by the fans, isn't medium work because every movie's supposed to be art, not what the fans really want.
Oh well, I mean, if you're taking it from a different source though, if you're making art and it's like an original product,
Yeah,
that's
he's
different.
looking at it from like a kind of like not really like taking criticism kind of point.
Oh well.
That's what he's kind of like. At least that's how I understood.
Well,
it.
here's the thing. Jim Carrey's talking about this. This is an adaptation of a gaming franchise that's been here forever. Everyone's familiar with what Sonic looks like.
Yeah,
in the games.
that's the thing that he doesn't get.
Yeah, like that's the thing too. It's an adaptation. If it's like an original product, then you know, someone could still mold it into what they want.
Yeah.
Yep, it looks like, so according to this Variety article, it says that Jim Carrey has finally responded to the criticism surrounding his forthcoming Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And he says, and I quote, "Sometimes you find that the collective consciousness decides it wants something, and then when it gets it, it goes, okay, I don't want it." The actor who plays Sonic's nemesis, Dr. Robotnik, said during Showtime's Friday TCA session, appearing for his series, kidding. Yeah, so backlash came after the first trailer, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
Backlash led to Paramount delaying it.
Yeah, I did.
And then basically the whole redesign thing. And Carey noted that he doesn't know how to feel about the audience having a part in the redesign, acknowledging that fans have a sense of ownership over the character. We'll just have to see what that entails, he said. However, he went on to say he isn't very concerned about the backlash and subsequent release pushback. It's going to happen how it happens. Either it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, he's been in the business long enough to know this is it happens.
I mean, we're talking about the man that won the mask.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that I like about his performance in Sonic movie so far in the trailer. He acts like the '90s Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll act like what he was in The Mask and Liar Liar, like every other movie he was in '90s. Oh, Ace Ventura.
Yes. Those are the only two movies I've ever seen him in. I don't think I've watched Liar Liar.
Liar Liar.
You never watched.
You've never watched
Liar
Liar Liar.
You never watched Bruce Almighty.
Oh, I've seen Bruce Almighty.
I've seen Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, cool.
I've seen Evan Almighty after that.
Yeah. And then it's Tim Miller, the executive producer and director of Deadpool.
Yep.
Yeah.
His decision to redesign Sonic was an important one, he said, and I quote, "Look, I was with the fans, so was Jeff. When shit hit the fan, I went over there and said the most important thing to do, man, is say I fucked up." And he said he already sent out a tweet out an hour before I got there.
Yep.
Miller went on to say, "This is a franchise and it has to be great."
Exactly.
And, I mean, regardless of what Jim Carrey says, I mean, if like it's I mean, obviously it's very subjective on what, especially media. It's very subjective because some people liked the design, the original, and then some people didn't like it, and then same thing with the redesign. And it just shows that, I mean, one, it really does, like, besides just being like, oh, they changed it, ha ha. No, I think it's something to understand that sometimes a company will actually listen, like, regardless, because one, they either see that they're going to lose a shit ton of money, or they're like, oh, we should probably do something about that so that this isn't just another bad video game movie. Yeah. Which it was really destined to be until then. So
it's also pretty rewarding knowing that the companies, they acknowledge the fact that video game movies have not been great in the past, and they know they know that they actively sought to do something to change it.
Yep. Get ready for the Mario movie, right? Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Illuminations.
No.
Yeah.
I remember...
I don't think it's a trailer, but they said they were going to make it.
I remember seeing as many, a lot of, movie review videos about the old Mario movie, and I just intentionally avoided all of them.
There he is, the Goomba.
Oh, Nintendo says Mario movie will be scrapped if the story is bad. I'm assuming the Illumination.
Yes.
That's probably going to look like something along that. That's a concept trailer.
It's a concept teaser trailer. I would actually watch it. Like, the new Scooby-Doo movie, or the new trailer that's coming out, I don't know, it looks pretty promising. Yeah. It looks pretty promising because it has adult jokes, too.
Yeah.
Compared to, past Scooby-Doo film. I'd actually might enjoy it more than everything else.
Oh, not that I saw the Scooby-Doo thing. I'm just like, I'm good.
Yeah, because Shaggy doesn't sound like a stoner anymore.
It's because Shaggy's not voiced by the god himself, Matthew Lillard. He's voiced by Will Forte.
Is that guy dead, or is he...
No, Lillard's still alive.
Okay, because I was getting mixed messages when I looked up in comments and stuff.
The original actor for Scooby-Doo is dead.
He's dead, yeah. That I know.
Frank Welker.
From the 70s.
Yeah, Frank Welker?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, no, Frank Welker, I think I heard, was in this movie.
So maybe... No. If not dead, then he's probably, retired.
Yeah, Frank Welker. He's still alive, I'm pretty sure.
That's Fred.
It's Fred.
Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem died. Yeah.
Okay.
Gig Harbor, Washington. Oh, boy. Wow, that actually caught me off guard a little bit.
Scoobert. Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
He played Scoobert.
He played Scoobert.
The Scoob.
Yeah.
I'm a little, torn on whether, the Matthew Lillard live-action Scooby-Doo movies were actually good or not.
I think the second one's really good.
Yeah, I think the second one was more of a love letter to the previous, the other series than the first one did.
And Seth Green's in it.
Well, yeah, Seth Green's in it. That's definitely a very solid reason why you like the second movie. Seth Green's in it.
Well, no.
It's like that one scene from the Star Wars parody.
Spaceballs?
No. Like the Family Guy Star Wars parody.
Oh.
Where Chris walks up to... Shit, I forgot what his name was. The old guy, I forgot what his name was. And he basically riffs about, he basically just makes fun of Seth Green while talking to Chris, who's played by Seth Green. It's basically that.
Yeah. I think Seth Green does it a lot. He's playing this character and he makes fun of himself.
Yeah, I think come to think of it, Seth Green is kind of a masochist. If you're
he made Robot Chicken.
He co-created Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Seth Green, possible masochist, can't confirm anything about it. You heard it here first.
Possible.
Here on the No Outlet Podcast.
Jesus Christ. How long have we been going for? Going for an hour 15. I think it'd be a good time to wrap it up.
Yep.
But, yeah, thank you, Payne, for coming on the podcast on such short notice.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Short notice.
But, yeah, so this has been another episode of the No Outlet Podcast. This is me, Taylor.
It's me, Dean.
It's Payne.
and we're gonna sign off because it's getting really hot in this room, and I'm dehydrated.
Go eat food.
Yeah,
Probably not gonna eat food because apparently you already ate.
Yeah, I already did.
I don't know what's with you.
I had Chinese food, so I'm really dehydrated.
I barely ate too.
Of course, me thinking ahead, being like, "Nah, we're gonna eat," and then I say, "Nah."
No, that's not a good thing. I barely ate. That's what I meant.
Well, before you guys start ranting and making this longer, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. New episodes coming whenever I feel like it. Anyways, see you guys later.
Hey, flexible schedule.
Yay.
Woo!